Our next Elevate is for student achievement is our speech and debate club and our national qualifiers. And Ms. Matizik, would you introduce our students?
Absolutely. Next up, we are going to recognize students from both Lewis Palmer High School and Palmer Ridge High School from the speech and debate teams. Both schools had students with outstanding performances at the Southern Colorado National Qualifying Tournament, with several advancing to the national competition this summer. We have coaches here tonight. We have Brian Hoff from Lewis Palmer High School, and I believe Aaron White from Palmer Ridge High School, and also the principal from Lewis Palmer High School, Bridget O'Connor, is here to join us. So I'd like to first invite those three individuals up to the podium, and then I will invite our students to join us as well. And once I introduce the students, I will give my colleagues the opportunity to speak about their achievements. So first we have from Lewis Palmer High School, Riley Call. Quinn Frazier. Jada Robertson. Juliana Wainwright. Grayson Hester. Savannah Holland. And also Anna Hacker. And from Palmer Ridge High School, we have Cole Clary. Alexander Hoff. Ari Vinny. You're welcome. Ella Blakely. And also Ryan Welts. And at this time, I will turn it over to my colleagues to share some comments about our students.
Well, I'll just quickly introduce Brian Hoff, who has just done amazing work at Lewis Palmer. I do want to draw your attention. He was also nominated as the District Coach of the Year. And we have amongst us the Student Director of the Year in Anna Hacker. So all these students that you see standing before you, thanks to Brian Hoff for building just an amazing program. So Brian, take it away.
All right, thank you. As a speech and debate coach, I just have a couple hours of remarks ready. And I know Miss White isn't here right now, or maybe she couldn't be here. I just know that I speak on her behalf also when I say how blessed and how lucky we are to be able to coach these amazing students. And not just these students, but every student that walks through our doors at both PR and Lewis Palmer. The NSDA, the National Speech and Debate Association, it creates leaders. It creates some of the, our politicians, our entertainers. There's several Supreme Court justices right now that are had gone through the same program that these students are going through right now, and it's a way for them to find their voice and use their voice to change the world. And that's why it's so amazing and such a great opportunity for all of these guys to have this program, to see them walk through those doors as freshmen and walk out as confident, amazing students at the end of the season, at the end of their high school career. There's just nothing quite like it to have them be prepared in the ways that they are. So just a really quick primer on what these guys have done that makes them so amazing. So when we talk about the national qualifying event, the national event that we're talking about is a week-long event in Iowa in the middle of summer that these guys have chosen to do school during the middle of summer. School on Saturdays, school after school, the speeches that they write, the debates that they do. The national tournament in June is the largest academic competition in the world for high schoolers. There's something like 5,000 students who compete, and ultimately, to get to that level, each and every one of these competitors had to be the top 2, not 3 or 4, but top 2 in all of southern Colorado. That's all of Monument, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Woodland Park. And so with all of their events, 15 or so different events, this represents the absolute top of all of southern Colorado. And we're going to state next week, or this coming Friday, Saturday. And so I'm hoping for pretty similar results in there too. But no matter what happens as far as results, it's not about that. It's about the progress. It's about the amazing things all of these students have done. And thank you guys for all of your support for us. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys got to squeeze in.
It's a big group.
And keep your eyes peeled, because this could be your future Board of Education right here.
Squeeze more. Squeeze more. You love your classmates, right?
Looks like you've done the appendage sticking out of your chest. Now that I'm looking forward to.
Congratulations. And again, this could be your future Board of Education right here. Okay. But wait, there's more. Okay, so C3, our Elevate 38 recognition, is our staff recognition. Ms. Matizik.
It is so fun to keep going, right? Recognition is the best part of the evening, I think. And it is nice when we can shift gears and celebrate not only our outstanding students, but also staff members. And tonight we are going to honor a staff member from Palmer Lake Elementary School. He's a PE teacher, Brett Mishlick. And he recently earned a gold medal at the Taekwondo U.S. Masters Cup in Houston, which qualified him to compete at the Masters World Games in Taiwan. And here to tell us a little bit more about Mr. Mishlick is the principal from Palmer Lake Elementary School, Kim Brighting. And she's going to tell us more about how he incorporates fun activities like Taekwondo into the classroom. So come on up, Mr. Mishlick.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an absolute honor to introduce to you my colleague, Brett Mishlick, but fondly known as Mr. M by everybody at Palmer Lake. I actually had to ask how to pronounce his name tonight before I came, just to double check, because we all know him as Mr. M. Brett is finishing his 21st year of teaching PE at Palmer Lake Elementary. He's also spent time at Kilmer and Bear Creek. Prior to being hired in 2004, his very first principal, Julie Jadomski, asked him in an interview if he could bring anything unique to our school community, what would it be? And he replied, Taekwondo, which was the beginning of Tri-Lakes Taekwondo. By sharing his passion for Taekwondo with students, he gets them excited about physical activity. This year, he teaches approximately 40 students Taekwondo, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are the Taekwondo day, our carpool line is significantly shorter. So another win. Tonight, we are here to celebrate Brett's most recent accomplishments. He is a 2023 AAU National Team Member, a 2023 Asia Pacific Masters Game Gold Specialist, a 2025 Masters Cup Gold Specialist, and lastly, a 2025 Masters Team Member. He will be representing our community, our country, at the 2025 World Masters Game in Taiwan in May.
Congratulations.
I didn't have a speech prepared, but no, I've been very blessed to not only be able to continue competing in Taekwondo, but to get to share that passion with the students of Palmer Lake. And I've taught Taekwondo at the school almost the entire time I've been at the school. And my job is really to get kids excited about physical activity in hopes that they will continue with something active for the rest of their lives. So when I get to share my excitement and my passion for my own individual interests with the kids, it is something that's very special to me. So truly appreciate this recognition. Thank you.
They hurt you bad.
You can't see us, we can't see you.
Well, I hope to be able to recognize you again in the summer after your trip. And if anybody knows at Mr. M and you're walking around Palmer Lake Elementary School, anytime you walk by the door, there's always a friendly hi, and it always just warms my heart when I'm walking in the building. So congratulations, and we look forward to more achievements. Okay, moving on to C4, public comments. Ms. Wood. Go ahead. Dr. Schenk, would you like to read public comment?
At this time, in accordance with policy BEDH, the board will hear comments from members of the public who have signed up to speak. It is our goal as a board to continuously listen and improve, and we invite members of our community to speak publicly for a total of 30 minutes. Speakers will be allotted up to 3 minutes each, and time may be divided equally if more than 10 individuals wish to speak. Groups with a united concern may be asked to appoint a spokesperson. The Board of Education does not respond individually to public comments, and to this point, comments expressed do not represent the position or opinion of the Board of Education or District 38. Finally, we ask that you keep comments shared appropriate for our PK through 12 audience and respectful at all times. Should you have an issue with a staff member that you would like addressed, please consider sharing these criticisms and concerns with the superintendent, who is responsible for supervising all staff and involving the board as necessary.
Thank you. We have 2 public comments for 3 minutes each. First, we would like to ask Kate Smith, who is a parent and would like to talk to us about student mental health. Did you have the timer?
Right, have my groupies. Good evening. My name is Kate Smith, and I'm a parent and educator and a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner. I represent a group of concerned parents and speak today as both a professional and a mother of a high school student in our district. I come before you tonight not only as an advocate, but as a partner. Our teachers, administrators, and students have spoken clearly through surveys and interviews, and they recognize the urgent need to address student mental health. I am here to say that we, as parents and community members, stand with them, hear them, and are ready to work together on real solutions. Our district's educators and administrators have been on the front lines navigating this crisis daily. Their insights reveal not only their deep concern, but their willingness to prioritize student well-being even in the face of limited resources. The solutions they've prioritized, mental health training, trauma-informed practices, and consistent wellness programs are aligned with what research confirms is necessary. The question now is, how do we as a community provide the resources and support they need to implement these initiatives effectively? Our students are not just asking for support, they are telling us exactly what they need. They want trusted adults who listen, mental health discussions that are free of stigma, and practical strategies for managing stress. Their concerns about social media and phone overuse also mirror what experts like Jonathan Haidt have identified as a primary driver of anxiety and disconnection. The good news is that students recognize the care of their teachers and staff, but the challenge still remains. If one student in our district feels unseen, that is one too many. And right now, 300 students feel they do not have a caring adult in their building. That number is not just a statistic. It represents real young people in our community who need us to act. Principals have made it clear they know what needs to be done, but are stretched too thin. Lack of time, lack of training, and lack of external support are standing in the way of meaningful change. These barriers are not the fault of our schools. They are systemic challenges that require district-wide and community-wide solutions. So we propose the following steps, not as critics, but as allies. First, we must formalize and expand mental health training for educators. Next, we should engage a task force of students, staff, and parents or guardians to develop research-based recommendations regarding phone use in schools. We also need to strengthen parent-school partnerships by creating a structured initiative that provides families with the same education and tools being taught in schools so that mental health strategies are reinforced at home. And finally, we must increase in-kind support and resources by providing funding. Let me be clear, we are not asking schools to shoulder this burden alone. We are here as partners ready to support and advocate for the teachers, counselors, and administrators who are already working tirelessly for our kids. This is not just about mental health initiatives, it is about the well-being of our entire generation, and specifically this generation. The time to act is now. Let's move forward together to ensure our schools have the resources, support, and policies needed to help every student thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Jason Gross, parent, and he's here to talk to us about Higbee Road improvement.
Hello.
Hi, Jason.
Hey. Thank you. I am a proud parent of D38 kids, and I am also a member of the Tri-View Metropolitan District Board of Directors. And I want to say thank you to D38 and to Lewis Palmer High School for the work that they have done with us on the Higbee Road improvement. As you may know, Triview is responsible for road and open space and water for a good portion of the town of Monument, which includes Higbee Road. When I first came on the Triview board, one of the things that had occurred was the death of an exchange student at a school in Colorado Springs as she was crossing the road. It just so happened at the exact same time, we were talking about ways to improve Higbee Road to make it safer, wider, with the increased traffic. So I want you to know it was absolutely at the forefront of our mind as the safety of the students here over at Lewis Palmer and of the staff. And big thanks to Ms. O'Connor and her staff for working with us on it. I've brought in the back here, you can see before and after pictures if you have time, and also a little bit of more details about it. There's going to be 2 roundabouts, which will slow down traffic speeding down the hill, down Higbee Road. It's going to be wider, increasing evacuation routes for fire for the community, sidewalks, numerous improvements that I think are going to be fantastic. So I wanted to bring it to your attention and say thank you. I have a little brochure, if I may leave it with you.
Yeah, just this one.
And in addition, part of this, it's going to be funded in part by developers. It's going to be funded also in part by a bond that we're going to be requesting the Triview residents to support, $12 million bond in May. The key message, I always want to pound on this for the community, for our Triview members, is that it will not result in a tax increase. It will not be a tax increase. There will not be a tax increase. It is going to be funded because of the growth in the area. We've been blessed with developers providing a portion of that, and also because of that same growth, we're taking in sufficient funds that while we're getting more in debt to support this important safety improvement, it will not increase the costs to our residents. So I wanted to share that with you and thank you for the collaboration we've had in making these improvements. I welcome any comments. I'll hang around in the back if folks have questions, but I personally am very proud of this effort, along with the town of Monument that supported this as well. I think it's going to make things safer for our children, for our staff, and for the people who are continuing to use a very busy Higbee Road and Jackson Creek area. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And if you want to leave those with Ms. Wood. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Those are our 2 groups of speakers, and both are very important issues. Thank you so much for coming forward to talk to us. Next is C5, board member comments and reports. As is tradition, we'll just start on the end. Mr. Brown?
I actually don't have any comments today. Thank you.
Dr. Shank?
Hi. So I'm reporting about President Upchurch and Ms. Wetstein and I being at PCAC this last week. And during that meeting, it's the Parent and Community Advisory Committee. We discussed a number of things that you've been probably hearing about in the community, including Grace Best's decision and the recent superintendent resignation. The meeting includes parents, teachers, administrators, and community members, and they asked very detailed questions of us during that period of time, and we took quite a long time to discuss that. In fact, we took up most of the meeting. And most of the questions involved our decisions and the associated costs with those decisions. Many also inquired about the next steps that we intended to take. President Upchurch and I also assured everyone that Amber Wetstein, who's right here, was our interim superintendent, and that interim meant actual, that this was not a substitute, it was our actual superintendent. So we have an actual superintendent of D38, and the date at which that was set to end was June 30th, 2025. The board discussed in our last board meeting that our executive team, who is here tonight, deeply understands the major things that we are working on as a team, such as our math and literacy test scores, Career and Innovation Center, Grace Best, and the superintendent, and are committed to completing these tasks as needed and handling the day-to-day running of our district during this time. We have full faith in them, and we are really lucky to have a group of people who have been working on this all along and know what's going on and can just continue. During our last board meeting, as a board, we began discussing the next steps, but again, just like in the PCAC meeting, we took too much time and realized we needed more time for a discussion because we weren't all thinking the same thing, which is one of the reasons that you have a Board of Education that has more than one person on it, so that you get a variety of representation of thoughts. In tonight's meeting, we have two related agenda items. Item E2, where we'll vote on whether to schedule a board retreat in March. And that's the meeting that we hope to have with our board to discuss what the next steps are, or at least to discuss what the next steps of the next steps are, so that we can get on the same page and figure out where we're going and how we're going to get there. It's intended to provide us time to discuss the process for selecting a new superintendent, establish a time frame for this decision, and other significant matters that require an in-depth discussion. We just don't have in-depth discussion on a regular basis, and these matters require that. And item F3, which is a stipend for our interim actual superintendent, which is important, and we need to move forward with that step. I also want to express my gratitude to my fellow board members in the D38 community for their patience and responsiveness during a lot of change. I know it's hard to take, and I know that there's a fair number of people who are worried about it. I'm going to just speak for myself. I'm not worried about it. I see what this board has accomplished and will do, and we will dig in and get it done just like our staff will. I also recognize and want to put this out there that there's misinformation circulating about our decisions. I appreciate it if you take the time to verify the facts and dispel misinformation, because while we take a lot of time and very much see the importance of transparency, it's impossible in this meeting time to tell you everything that's gone on ahead of decisions that we make and that sort of thing. It's just not possible to cover everything. So, because I know some people want to dig in, I want to remind you that you can visit two places. There are other places, but these are the two places I want to mention. Board Docs, which is what you're seeing on your screen right now, is available, and you can get to it from the LPSD website, so that you can see what have we been talking about. And you will also see information there under each agenda item that you can dig into. And there's also additional information on all the committees, what they've met, what they talked about, including the PCAC committee, and you can get as much information as probably you want. If you don't get as much information as you want, I would ask you to reach out. Our names and our email addresses are available, and we hear from people on a regular basis. If we're not the right person to talk to, we'll let you know, and we'll tell you who is. But this is really important that when you're going through a period of time of change and difficulty, to get the right information so that you know exactly what's happening. And if you don't get it and need it and want it, reach out so that we can tell you what's true and what's going on. That's mine. I'm sorry it was so long-winded.
It's your time. You never have to apologize for taking your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Norris.
Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate it. I do have a few comments. First one, as it relates to the GELT, leadership is one of the areas that you can identify students as gifted and talented. Lewis Palmer Middle Schools volunteered to pilot some ideas for finding kids who might be gifted in leadership, and right now they've identified 3 7th grade candidates who want to go through the process, and they're putting together a portfolio to showcase their leadership skills and abilities. And they're looking for experts in the field to do a short panel interview with each of the candidates assessing their portfolios. So I know, Tiffany, thank you for stepping up and volunteering to be on that interview panel.
It's exciting.
Huh?
It's exciting.
I know I had a couple of dates and times that I tried to get in there, but the stars didn't align and I wasn't able to make it. So if you're interested in sitting in and assessing some portfolios, either Todd or Patty, reach out to Annette Palmer. And I think she'll make a nice home for you. So they're going to evaluate those portfolios and see where they go next. So good stuff going on in the GELT. And then the other piece is the ambassador to MA. I got some good news stories. So Monument Academy is going to host their Teacher Appreciation Week a little earlier than the National Appreciation Week, and it's going on from February 18th through the 21st. They want to make sure, and they provide a proper spotlight on their teachers as they truly deserve it. The wonderful PTOs have planned a week worth of gratitude that involves students and families. And it's a small token of appreciation that cannot match the level of gratitude they have for their teachers. Elementary school loves to provide students with the opportunity to experience the learning that has taken place. Every grade level gets to participate in Core Knowledge Day, and this coming Friday is 2nd grade's turn. With Pioneer Day, those students will dress up in period garments and have a full day of activities, starting with parades around the school, then transition into Pioneer games, square dancing, and a chance to churn butter.
Nice.
And they get to have a period meal and celebrate community with their classmates. And last but not least, the Parent Ambassador Program just launched, and families have shown significant interest in supporting the school. The program has several components: interviews, school tours, new family connections, and parent education teams. That's one of Monument Academy's greatest strengths as a community, and they always want to involve the wonderful families. So a lot of good stuff going on there. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going to start off with some of my committee reports, and I want to start off by reminding our community that our Special Education Advisory Committee has opened up the applications for the Alorium Day Awards. That opened up on Valentine's Day. It closes in March. If you haven't been a part of that, the ceremony is April 24th, which is a Thursday at 7 p.m. at Palmer Ridge High School. And it is one of the most inspiring evenings that you will ever experience, to see how our staff and our students and our community members, there's 3 different awards, come together and support our students that are differently abled. And so it's one of my favorite times of year. And so I just wanted to remind everybody of that and invite them to that award ceremony. The Special Education Advisory Committee will be having our meeting on March 12th, and we will be learning about the inclusive higher education that will be presented for our students that are continuing on beyond high school, that are in our special education or identified as special education. And then I also wanted to do a shout out that the Education Foundation just finished awarding 15 advanced grants for professional development for our staff. members, and that's really exciting because the Education Foundation has really come together to find ways to lean in and elevate and take care of our staff members throughout the district. So that's exciting that we'll be awarding those to 15 different staff members, and that's across the entire school district in all schools. And then I wanted to remind my fellow board members that I hope you, like me, often ponder or think about why it is you do what you do. Why are you sitting at this table? And I hope that you are reminded, like I am, that it's about our kids, that is our why. And so I spent some time the last month. I spent first grade, one morning in first grade in Miss Lebowski's class at Prairie Winds Elementary School, and first grade at Mrs. Harder's first grade classroom at Bear Creek Elementary School. And just spending the entire morning doing first grade learning and reading and sharing, and it just is really inspiring. And it starts at first grade and it continues up. I went to Lewis Palmer High School's one-act plays just recently, and let me tell you, Macbeth, that kid can act. It was pretty amazing. They also did Around the World in 80 Days as well. And then we went to the Palmer Ridge Lewis Palmer High School basketball games, and we've been around the district. We've been to, I spent Valentine's Day at Lewis Palmer Elementary School, and we talked to staff at Lewis Palmer Middle School. I played an impromptu game of Uno with our transition students, and we met with our Homeschool Enrichment Academy families 3 times. And so just being out and about and around the district, it's a good reminder of our why. Things like our Bearbotics, where despite some building issues, their innovation, their talent, their promising futures, their skills, and their pride, working on a sustainability award. That's what our why is. It's students that are sitting right next to us. That's our why. And so I just want to remind each other that, as a friend once quoted to me, that we love inspiring beginnings and we look forward to happy endings, but it's often in that middle that everything's out there and it's spread out there and it's messy and it looks like failure, but it's part of the process. And I'm proud of the work that we do as a district, and I'm proud of our students, I'm proud of our staff, and I'm proud of this community that comes together for the education here in D38. So that's all I wanted to share. Okay. Next is our Palmer Ridge High School student representative, speaking of. And Ms. Wetstein, would you like to introduce our students for today?
I would be happy to. We are very excited to have 2 wonderful students from Palmer Ridge High School with us this evening. First, we have Aiden Miller. Aiden is a sophomore at Palmer Ridge High School. He is active in student leadership, participating in both student council, where he plans to run for an executive position, and on the principal advisory committee, which I think you'll speak to a little bit this evening. He is also an athlete, running track and staying active whenever possible. Outside of school, Aiden enjoys spending time outdoors and hanging out with his friends. After high school, he is considering taking a gap year to study abroad before pursuing a college degree in psychiatry. Aiden is personable, and his curiosity about human nature is the reason why the field of psychiatry appeals to him. And then we have Paige Ersman with us tonight as well. Paige is a junior at Palmer Ridge High School. She is a multi-sport athlete participating in gymnastics, diving, and track. She also competes in club diving with the goal of being able to continue diving in college. Paige has spent time coaching gymnastics at her home gym, where she has trained for 14 years. She is currently enrolled in the cosmetology program at the International Salon and Spa Academy through the Lewis Palmer School District Career Start program. Paige enjoys interacting with the staff at Palmer Ridge, especially since her mom works at the school. So we are so excited to have you here with us this evening, and I think you have some things to share with us regarding the Principal Advisory Committee.
Hello, I am Aiden Miller, a sophomore at Palmer Ridge High School. Like a lot has been mentioned about me, but I am a part of Student Council, FBLA, and I am proud to say that I'm going on to state for that coming in the next months, and part of our Principal Advisory Group, which is a very diverse group of selected students from each grade, which is 2 from each grade and usually a guy and a girl. and we like to cover a lot of topics about the school, and Dr. Frank, excuse me, likes to just get more of an inside look on everything that's happening besides student council, even though I'm still a part of that. It's just good to pitch in and do what we can.
Right. As you said, we're just here to talk about the advisory group. My name is Paige Ersman. I am a junior at Palmer Ridge High School. I like to do lots of sports, clearly. So it's really helpful with being in the advisory group to just kind of give that insight, especially with us. You know, he's in student council, and then so while he gets to experience what Dr. Frank talks about with them, we also come from just wherever we're at, especially because I'm not usually at the school. I go to the Career Start, so I also get a chance to kind of give a say on what's going on. So, yeah.
In principal advisory, we have covered some different topics, more of Dr. Frank's personal questions, kind of like the parking spots and painting them, which we have been able to do this year, which I'm happy for. And we like to go over more personal things, kind of like not specifically what teachers do we like and what we don't, because that's kind of biased, but it's more of a what do you like what teachers do and what do you not like what they do, and how can we contribute to that, and what can we do to kind of fix things or just give teachers more ideas or insight about everything, which is something I really enjoy about the group. I am very, I would say, included, and I like speaking up and just doing what I can to give my input, and it's great to really just say, I guess, what I need to say directly to the principal and somebody who is who we see as a leader and our role model. It's very good to have him just listen on what we have to say, and I love it.
Yeah. So going into more depth, like I've had several people come up to me and they're just like, why can't we have these, like, for example, senior spots? That was a huge topic that we talked about for, I don't know, probably about an hour. We took a lot of class time talking about that. And so many people have come up to me and they're like, do you know why? Like, because I'm in the advisory group. And it's cool being in the advisory group because we get to kind of step into Dr. Frank's shoes and just see what it's like to run a school. And it's really interesting because I used to have the same questions, like, why can't we do this? There's no reason why we can't. And he'll explain these reasons, and you're just like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. And it starts to just make us see the way that he does, and like the certain issues that we don't even think about, which is super cool. And just being able, like, so then I'm like able to talk to other people and be like, well, here's some of our issues for it and like what we're trying to work on, you know? And then going along with like teachers and stuff, and a lot of discussions about bare time, because a lot of students don't like bare time while a lot of students do. A thing that we really focus on is pros and cons with any topic that we go over. So while students don't like bare time because a lot of students just sit there, other students really like it for time to make up tests or get help on their homework, which is come into use way more than we even thought. So it's actually really helpful just being in the advisory group, learning things from the way that he sees it, so that way we can like take that in and be like, okay, now this is starting to make sense, and just help people understand, I guess. So yeah.
Adding on to what Paige said, this principal advisory group is very student-led, as in he likes to sit down with us and he's like, you ask me any question you want to and I can answer, instead of us having to go through Miss Apnip, which is his assistant. I may not know, excuse me. But instead of going through her, we have to sit down with him and we get to personally ask our questions, and he can ask us questions and give us feedback. And it's really helpful to, like how Paige said, to really understand why there's certain things. And I guess it also helps getting the word out, like not through him, if you know what I mean, because he tells us this information, and then people can come to us and ask, okay, but why? And we can explain, like, this, there is pros and cons to everything, and you can't make everybody happy at one time. Nothing's specifically perfect, but he can do the best he can, and we can do what we can to really contribute and really give into the school and the community.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all of it with the advisory group. I think it's mainly just about having students that are from different areas, especially with him taking out from each grade, a female and a male from